Whatever happened to underconsumption? That was another one of the internet's like here and gone trends. It was the next iteration of de-influencing or the anti-haul. And a lot of these concepts tend to get really buzzy on the internet. We hear them spoken about for a little bit and then they kind of die off and we return to our old ways. But here on this channel, it was never a phase. Underconsumption, de-influencing, whatever you want to call it, has always been a key part of my content. I want to return to that a little bit. And specifically, I want to talk about ways to use products that you don't like. At their core, all these different topics that we have given different names like de-influencing, underconsumption, at the heart of it is the idea of not consuming more than you need. But sometimes you buy something and you just don't like it. And then what? And that's what I want to lean into today. I have a few other topics as well, but I really want to focus on using products that don't necessarily work for you and finding ways to make them work for you so it was not a waste of your money. The one I hear people talk about the most is how to use up shampoo and conditioner that you don't like. These I feel like are easier to find solutions for. It's like, okay, you know, a shampoo is a cleansing agent, so you can use it not only to wash your hair, but you could use it as a body wash, you could use it as a hand wash, you could use it to wash your brushes, like a nice gentle shampoo is great for a makeup brush wash. Conditioner as well, we know that's great for shaving your legs. Like you can use up shampoo and conditioner in a lot of different ways. That's level one, that's the easy stuff. But what about the other stuff? Let's talk about the more complicated ones that are just sitting around your house. You're like, how am I gonna use this up? What am I gonna do with this? And starting with the leftover press-on nails. I wanted to include this because they talk about press-on nails a lot. I love them. And there are always a bunch of additional nails in the kit that you didn't apply that are maybe not quite the right size, but you don't have enough left to do a full set of nails. And you're like, what do I do with these? I have a great hack. I call it Frankenstein nails. It really just means mixing and matching different nails that do not come from the same set. And I'm really excited about this right now because I feel like mismatched nails are very trendy at the moment. So this is the perfect time to use up all those leftover random press-on nails that you have in a drawer somewhere. Build a set together. You can kind of play around with which ones are gonna match. I would say the biggest key is to try to find a similar shape between the nails so that they're a similar length and shape. But I've also seen people do mismatched nails that are different shapes and it still looks really cool and intentional. I feel like there's a way to do it. You just have to get a little bit creative, but I think that's kind of the fun of this, that now you can make a brand new custom set. I was having so much fun going through all my leftover press-on nails, like playing around like, oh, would these match together? Would these match together? And especially right now, I'm really into this mismatched look, so try it out. If you have leftover press-on nails, do not throw them away. There is a use for them. Before we jump into the next one, there is a sponsor on today's video. I'm so excited to say that today's video is sponsored by Babbel, one of the top language learning apps in the world. And in the theme of underconsumption, a big goal that I had for 2025 was to focus less on buying things and instead focus on enjoying experiences. And part of that for me has meant travel. So I have a trip coming up, and in preparation for my trip, I'm using Babbel to brush up on my Spanish. I'm going to Colombia, and I know a little bit of Spanish, but I don't feel super confident in it, so I'm using Babbel to prepare for my trip. The reason I was so interested in Babbel over other language learning apps is that they tailor it to real life experiences. Okay, I've tried other language apps before, and I never stick to them because I feel like I'm learning how to say sentences that I'm probably not going to need. And then the sentences that I want to know how to say, I still don't know how to say. Like, I don't need to prioritize learning how to say the dog likes its bone. I want to practice saying, ¿Dónde está el baño? Babbel is scientifically proven by researchers at Yale University and Michigan State University to help you start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. You can follow the link in the description below to get up to 60% off your subscription. Let me know what language you want to learn next. Okay, let's talk about some hair products that you might have left over, including gel and hairspray. Maybe you have a gel and a hairspray in your collection and you're like, these don't work very well in my hair, but you don't want to throw them away. Well, you can use them in your eyebrows. Your eyebrows are obviously a hair as well. And a gel that is for your hair works fantastic in your eyebrows. Just take a little spoolie, work it into it, and it works the same as a makeup brow gel. It actually tends to be a little bit more firm hold, which can be a good thing. So I highly recommend that. Or a hairspray as well in your brows. I've done this so many times, especially in a pinch. If I'm like traveling and I realize I forgot a brow gel, you can take a spoolie, spray a little hairspray into it, and then work it through the brows and you're good to go. Now, actually the opposite end of it is for mascaras or brow products that you don't like. You could use those in your hair. Now, this is going to be dependent on your hair color and whether or not these other products match the color of the hair on your head. But the amount of times I've used like a brow gel as a flyaway saver, so many times. I've had a lot of brow gels where I'm like, this isn't working in my brows. Maybe it's too firm, maybe it leaves too much of like a sheen. That can happen with brow gels. They like almost look too shiny in my brows, and I don't like that look on my eyebrow, but I don't mind it in my hair. So it's perfect to just comb through, fix the flyaways, and now you have a new life for this product that you weren't gonna use up on your face. This is also perfect for like a brow wax or any of those brow laminating products. I know they were huge for a few years and every brand was launching them. Well, maybe if you've changed the way you do your brows and you don't like those laminate products, but you still have them in your drawer, use them on your hair to slick back any flyaways, to do a slick back hairstyle, or just to create a very sleek look. Okay, huge one if you are like me and you have sensitive skin. There have been so many times where I have bought a serum for my face and it is just way too harsh for my sensitive skin. It's not something I'm gonna be able to use and it just goes bad in my drawer. Well, we know we can of course use like skincare that's designed for your face on your body. That's the easy answer. They're like, oh, you know, use it on your chest, use it on your arms, whatever. But when it comes to these exfoliating products, they're fantastic for your underarms because they can help reduce odor because they're exfoliating away dead skin. So if you have like a salicylic acid face wash and you find, okay, your skin's way too sensitive, it's not vibing as a face wash, try it on your armpits. It should help reduce odor because it is exfoliating that area, but it's not gonna be as harsh down there as it would be on your face. Same for benzoyl peroxide. That's another one. If you've ever bought a benzoyl peroxide face wash and you think, okay, this is too harsh, it's drying my skin out, try it on your armpits because it can reduce bacteria, it can help with odor. That's another great way to use that product up. Or even like any type of an exfoliating toner, like a glycolic acid toner or a BHA toner. I feel like those were really popular a few years ago. We were really getting pushed, like you need a glycolic acid toner. I know, like that just never found a spot to stay in my skincare routine. That's something that I would like try for a little bit and now it's in the back of a drawer somewhere. Again, your armpits. Salicylic acid can also be really great for KP. If you get that on the back of your arms, you can use your salicylic acid serums there to help minimize that. Or even using these exfoliating products on your legs can help prevent ingrown hairs. Okay, let's talk powder. You know I love powder. It's probably my favorite category of makeup, maybe behind lip liner. And every single brand seems to be launching a powder right now. And maybe you've bought one recently and it just does not work well on your face. You can use it as dry shampoo. You know, a powder on your face is there to absorb oil and it's gonna do the same thing in your hair. So you can use it as a dry shampoo. And this is also nice if you find most dry shampoos give you a white cast if you have a darker hair color. You can use tinted face powders to do the same thing, absorb the oil, but you're gonna get less of that white cast because it's gonna be a little bit closer to your hair color. Now, perfume. Obviously, this is a scented product. You could spray it anywhere, and I think sometimes there are perfumes that just do not work well on my body. I don't like wearing it. It doesn't combine well with my body chemistry, but I don't mind the scent. So for those, I like using it as a room spray. You can use it as like a bathroom spray. You can also keep it in your closet, like spray it over your clothes to keep them smelling fresh. Okay, lotion, maybe a body lotion, a face lotion, any type of lotion product that you don't like, you can make into a body scrub. Just add a little bit of sugar or something a little bit abrasive like that into it, and then you can use it to exfoliate your body. Another option for a skincare product that you don't like is to use it on your body, but specifically on your feet. So I know we talked about like skincare on your body. That one's kind of obvious. Like if you don't like it on your face, use it on your chest or something. But also try it on your feet to do like a little foot mask treatment. So you can take your nice fancy hydrating serum that you don't necessarily like on your face, use it on your feet, and then take some nice like fluffy socks, put it on top to create a foot treatment. And then the next morning you're gonna wake up, your feet are gonna be really hydrated and smooth. And that's another way for you to use that serum that didn't necessarily vibe on your face. It'll probably be really appreciated by your feet. And that's one thing, it's like, I'm not gonna go out and buy a dedicated foot serum. I mean, would I? Probably not. But that's a great place that I like to use a facial serum that I'm not gonna use up or I don't like. That'll be a way for me to finish it up and get good use out of it. And a very unexpected one is a tip that I have for eyeshadow. You can use that as paint. Okay, so this is perfect. Maybe you have some very expired eyeshadows and you're like, okay, this is not working the same on my eyes anymore, but I don't want to throw this away. You can use that as paint. A lot of times you might need something to mix in with it to get it to be the right consistency, But that's a fun part about eyeshadow palettes is you have this variety of shades, especially if you have very like bright pigmented eyeshadows. Those can work really well as paint, and I've seen people do really cool painting projects with old expired eyeshadow.
I'm turning this $5 Profusion eyeshadow palette into really nice watercolor paint. All you need to do this is a little bit of time and some watercolor binder. First, you take all of the makeup out of the compact. You're going to take whatever you have on hand and mix them together. Do this molding step for a really long time. You can store it in the eyeshadow palette that you got the powder out of. If you make your own art supplies, they're going to be way better than the ones that you buy unless you spend a bunch of money. And who has money these days? Save this video. Maybe you'll make paint one day.
Those were ways to use up products that are probably collecting dust in your drawers, but I also want to talk about ways to reuse products that you have without needing to go out and buy something new, because again, I feel like that's another big pillar in the idea of underconsumption. And I've especially been thinking about this as I've seen the popularity of WEC jars increasing. So if you don't know what that is, it is like a canning jar. However, they're starting to get really buzzy on the internet because people are using them for their like reusable container to take their coffee or their to-go drink in.
I avoided buying a WEC jar for as long as I possibly could. Like, it's just a jar. I have my coffee cups, mason jars, pasta jars. Why would I need a WEC jar? The answer is, I don't know, one of those videos just really did me in. I had to get it.
In a lot of ways, the sudden recent explosion of the WEC jar, even though it's been around for a while, is reminding me a lot of the trajectory we saw with Stanley and the consumeristic obsession with that cup, where now all of a sudden everybody wants to have their own WEC jar. And like I said, they're made for canning, so that's a separate conversation, but to use it just to hold like your latte, I promise there's already something in your home that will do that and look just as cute as a WEC jar, okay? The internet has done a great job at convincing us that our Tupperware should be uniformed and matching and you should have a Tupperware set, when in reality, there's really not a functional difference between that Tupperware set that you're buying and the random odds and ends that make their way into your life, whether that's through a takeout container that you saved or a random butter jar that you washed out. Either way, they all serve the same purpose. And even as an aside, I personally love the look of a mismatched home, especially in the kitchen. I love the look of mismatched plates, mismatched silverware, where you can tell this is a collection that came together with love over the years. It feels more homey that way. I'm especially drawn to different restaurants that do this. Like, I love if I'm sitting at a table and all of the chairs are mismatched. It's this very cool, intentional look that doesn't feel as stale as a matching set would. It feels very homey and personalized in a way that I'm really drawn to. And yes, this is kind of my excuse to share my jar collection, but if there's one thing that I love, it is saving a jar. Like, anytime when I'm in the grocery store and I'm buying something in a glass container, I'm like, yes, I can't wait to have that jar later. So before you go out and buy a WEC jar, like, this is just a jam jar. I think these are the cutest things ever. It obviously already has the really adorable lid because you have this little gingham print. Looks just as cute, serves the purpose of holding my iced latte in the morning, and it's something that I already had. I also save non-cute jars though, like this is a pickle jar. I love to use this. I'll like make a pre-made salad or something and put it in here, save it in my fridge. You don't need to buy a new jar because you probably already have a ton of jars in your collection, especially like Tupperware. That is one thing that I feel so passionately about. You never need to buy Tupperware. Tupperware will just find you. Like little plastic containers like this, okay, I just washed it, it's still wet, but this, you know when you're at the airport, the like farmer's fridge vending machines, I know other places have them, but that's where I tend to buy these. This is just the container for that, and then I saved it afterwards, and now I use this, like I just washed out because I had tomatoes in it. Like a jar, a type of Tupperware, you never have to buy that. It will come to you. It is probably in your home already, just has something else in it and you need to wash the container out. One last jar recommendation, and a surprising one, the honey container. I saved that recently to put my latte in, and now it looks like I have a cute little bear in my iced coffee in the morning. But circling back to makeup, pretty much anything could be used anywhere. Do not let the rules hold you back because most of these products are multi-use, even if they don't say that on the label. An eyeshadow could easily be a highlighter or vice versa. If you think you don't have a cream blush, I promise you do, because you probably have a drawer full of bullet lipsticks that could all be used as a cream blush. And the other day I was watching a tutorial where someone talked about using a matte highlighter, basically just like a brightening shade, and my immediate thought was, oh my gosh, I need to run out and buy one of these. And then I thought, wait a minute, I have a drawer full of eyeshadows. I could choose any skin tone eyeshadow and use it as my matte highlighter. Like, sure, certain things might be formulated formulated differently and it might perform slightly better, but at the end of the day, there really are no rules, and for the most part, you can apply any makeup product anywhere on your face. Obviously, some caution when it comes to your eyes, but for the most part, you can really play around with it. Okay, did I miss anything? Let me know if you have any other ways that I did not include in today's video that you like to use products up. Thank you again to Babbel for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will go ahead and see you in my next one. Bye!